Saludos caremontases, bienvenidos a otro video. ¿Ves? En el día de hoy vengo a compartir lo que fue el día de ayer 25 de junio, la transmisión del directo, o bueno, parte de la transmisión del directo no oficial organizado por Fleet Method. El video va a ser bastante largo y eso que solamente están los dos segmentos en los que participé. Primero que nada, acepté la invitación cordialmente. Disfruté mucho de los espacios, tanto en los que participé como en algunos en los que no participé, sino simplemente especté. En términos generales, le agradezco enormemente a Fleet Method por haberme invitado. Se notó bastante todo el empeño que le puso, o sea, tanto en el hosteo, el tiempo e incluso en el Discord donde se estaba organizando. Estaba ese muchacho que revolaba y revolaba y revolaba haciendo una cosa, haciendo la otra. Así que si pueden ir al video de la transmisión en YouTube, dejar su like y dejar un comentario. Y bueno, de hecho, tomarse el tiempo para ver lo que hicieron, sería bastante bueno. Pues nada, no quiero alargar más esto. Voy a dejarles el primer segmento. Se lo resumo básicamente lo que es y mi experiencia, porque voy a dejar estrictamente el segmento tal cual fue. En el primero fue un Fixed Trial, el cual nos dieron con 4 días de antelación la información. Intenté hacer unas pruebas y me fue bastante bien en las pruebas, pero a la hora de la ejecución pues ustedes se darán cuenta de los problemas que surgieron. Y pues nada, bastante entretenido. Y en el segundo segmento originalmente íbamos a estar hablando sobre la perspectiva de los jugadores de FFBE alrededor del mundo, o sea, por fuera de los Estados Unidos. Estaba invitado Spidey Gaming, el Long Wanderer, que me enteré que así es como se pronuncia, Long Wanderer, y mi persona. Por cuestiones de tiempo, Spidey Gaming no pudo estar, así que fue prácticamente el Long Wanderer y mi persona hablando. Al inicio como que nos centramos un poco en hablar sobre nuestra experiencia en los videojuegos y luego ya nos pusimos a alabarnos en uno al otro. Fue maravilloso. Cabe recalcar que todo está en inglés, no lo voy a subtitular porque sería demasiado trabajo. Así que pues bueno, los que no sepan alguito de inglés pues se jodieron un poco. Y pues muchachos, la verdad yo estoy practicando inglés estas semanas con ayuda de Azure en mi Discord. Y la verdad, para aquellos que quieren aprender inglés de verdad, les recomiendo que practiquen hablándolo. Porque realmente noté en mí mismo una mejora bastante buena que me dio pues la capacidad de llevar el directo de manera adecuada. El micrófono de Long Wanderer suena un poquito mal. Incluso antes de la transmisión intenté ayudarle para que sonara bien y la verdad pues van a notar que la calidad de audio no es la mejor, pero igual yo podía entender la mayoría de lo que él decía porque bueno, le subí el volumen, pero de pronto pues ustedes no le pueden entender por el volumen ya en la transmisión y pues nada. Nuevamente muchísimas gracias a todos los que estuvieron también allá acompañándome, más que todos los de Discord con sus comentarios. Por ahí después me dijeron que aumentó la cantidad de usuarios que había y pues muy seguramente la mayoría eran mi gente, que los amo muchísimo. Y pues nada, ahí los dejo muchachos, espero que disfruten esta retransmisión.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Hopefully everyone's enjoying their time here at the 6th semi-annual, mostly annual, unofficial live stream event hosted by Flip Method. Coming at you right now, your boy Saiyan Knight here for Fixed Trial Challenge number 1. And boy, oh boy, do we have a group for you today, my friends. Today's group of players, world-class cast, ready to kick this trial all the way to the past, let me tell you that. First of all, the young LN Wanderer. Our boy, straight from Singapore, a YouTube in-game content creator that focuses on different builds and content, sometimes and mostly lately with Riser. Very cool homie. Very excited to see how they do today. It's going to be a whole time. Additionally, straight from the EU, we got Lividilly, an EU content creator, lots of in-game trial guides, hitting up that Clash of Wills, hitting up that Dark Visions, something of a self-professed brute force content clearer, you might say. We loved his boy. Additionally, Kamikiro, the OG, right from Colombia. This man out here doing those free-to-play guides, clearing content with no detailed information. Maybe you know him from back in the day, maybe you know him from right now, but you definitely know this boy. I'll tell you that. Additionally, last not least, the young Gert. This man, hey, straight from NA. We got the NA representation, a mental health counselor by day, a Tuesday prepper by Tuesday night. This man doing some videos, this man doing some guides, doing some live content. We got a whole group, my brothers. Now, let me tell you this. We're going to be seeing some absolutely wild content today. These young warriors, they're going to be facing off against the Sworn 6 of Palladia. Now, for people out here who don't know, the Sworn 6, they swear a lot, but let me tell you this. There's not just 6 of them. There's, in fact, an additional 2 more. Because story season 1 mislead. They foreshadow and then they mislead. As it would turn out, spoilers, there's extra. And we're going to meet them today. Now, this battle takes place with a fixed party and some very stringent requirements on the units. I'll go over that really quickly now so we all know what's going on. The team has to be Beryl, Olive, Demon Rain, Yuffie, and Selfie. And the special conditions are as follows. No unit can equip a ribbon. All ribbons are outlawed and banned. We let our hair down. We let our hair flow. We don't deal with ribbons. They're out the window, my manses. Beryl has to have at least 100 ice and lightning resist, 50 water, wind, earth resist, 90 light, 125 dark resist. So it's going to take up an awful lot of equipment slots to get that going. You think you have a lot of room for the bulk, but hey, maybe you don't. You'd be surprised. Even the sirens are screeching when they think about how to gear their Beryl. Let me tell you that. It's a bit of a Rubik's Cube. Now, keep in mind, Clash of Wills and Dark Visions items are allowed, so we have some absolutely wild attack power. We have some absolutely wild offensive side stats. Do we have killer gear from Clash of Wills? Do we have chain cap gear, flat stats? Who knows? Hard to say. Also, we know we have options, and that's good enough. Now, there is a fact involved here. Demon Rain has to be 100 evade, 100 draw. Again, we're eating up slots. We're making sure that for the duration of this building process, we got to figure out how to fill around the space. Carbuncle recommended to have some unlocked magics. If you're going to be trying to use Carbuncle, which you hilariously you have to on Demon Rain, maybe you got to get some magic in there. Maybe you got to do some chaining. Maybe you got to do some bar spells. You never know. It's all electric. It's all frost from the Frost Veritas and so on. So possibly you could lock down up to 3 of those guys if you have your Carbuncle built out big enough. 3 bar spells, pretty huge. Phoenix recommended to have the Phoenix Guard ability unlocked so that we can be sure at all times that Beryl has access to a second life. He's kind of a re-raised boy. So, maybe it's going to come in handy. Maybe the contestants didn't feel that was necessary. We'll see whether or not that comes into play as we get rolling. Items with auto buffs are allowed. So Wisdom of Hest, the Miracle Shoes, Auto Bravery, the Lordly Robes, etc. and so forth. They absolutely are going to be rolling through here. Sometimes it helps, especially when you got a team limited like this, every now and again, you just got to make sure, hey, I got to take a little bit less damage here. Let's hope that maybe a Wisdom of Hest does the job. They are permanent, so kind of a premium item. They don't offer many stats, and there are minimum stat thresholds to achieve in this set of builds. So extra layer of complexity there, especially when you factor in that Beryl himself, probably the one that would benefit the most from those items. Already got a lot to deal with in terms of elemental resist, huh? Additional activatable skills that you gain from equipment such as Crazy Day and that cannon. Those are certainly allowed in here in case we want to change up the kits a little bit. We're going to see how that plays into it. Vision cards are not allowed, however. Master cards, not on these boys. We are not bothering with that. Not only would it be a bit of an investment, let's be honest, but no one's giving a vision card to Yuffie. I'm going to say it. Some Final Fantasy VII stands in chat are mauling, but we don't stand a Wutai out here. I'm going to say it. I'm just going to throw it out there. Now, regarding how we build, Beryl, yeah. Start what? Yeah, of course. I thought we were, please, feel free. Start it up. Get going.
I just start?
Yeah, go, my mans. Yeah, pop off. I'm just giving you intros, running through, making sure chat knows what's up, but please, you're off and running. Make it happen. I got nothing but faith. Absolutely. Like I was saying, as we go through this, the Beryl does have to have 18,000 minimum health, kind of a feat for our young boy, especially if not potted. So as we go through that. Again, the gearing restrictions gonna be pretty tough. I'm seeing in chat, perhaps there is a bit of an issue with Wanderer's gameplay capture. Seems a bit of a black screen. Hopefully we can get wrapped up on that pretty soon. I'm sure it's a very minor technical issue, easy solution.
If I could also just throw out there, by the way, SK, it says your name over my stream.
But you see, that's the secret, my mans, because secretly, you and I are one and the same. Don't forget it. I am the you and yourself that believes in us both.
I love it. I love it. Thank
Absolutely, my man. It's me looking out.
I forgot what I was already doing on this trial. Nice.
Now, going into it, I'm just going to go around real quickly while you guys do. I'm not going to have you focus too hard on anything but the fight. But was there anything out here, Gert, we're going to start with you, my man. Is there anything that you're particularly worried about going into the trial today?
Yeah, you know, I've practiced this a lot using this this setup. And one thing that I'm particularly worried about is Demon Rain can't sit still.
It is kind of the case. He's a bit antsy. He's a bit jumpy. That man has never liked being in the corner, and he's not going to stay there.
No. But I've got some plans for how I can try and control him a little bit, but we just got to see.
Hey, man, and the best of luck. I'm hoping it goes well for you and I, since we are, in fact, one and the same, as I have said. Fingers crossed for both of us. Wander, what are your keynote concerns as you go into this trial? What were you really planning around being an issue?
My concern is mostly the survival part because of the limited parameters for this one. So Olive cannot really one-shot the boss, and then if both of them survive, I'm in big issues. So yeah, but I hope that my screen is showing fine now.
Just me, or can nobody?
The screen still is black. I'm not sure what's going on with that on the back end, but I'm sure it'll be something that gets solved in no time flat. Sometimes these things happen, kind of the nature of live content, but you know what? That's the secret of life. That's the extra spice. Sometimes it gets a little hot on the back end and things just go the way they go. Am I right, baby boys? Okay, and then things happen. But you know what? Even so, the show goes on. Lividilly, my man, what were the keynote concerns for you as you were building? What was the hardest piece to put together?
I don't know. I'll find out. I had like an hour or so to prepare, so I haven't even defeated the first ones, to be honest.
Hey, and now we should have Wanderers up. Go ahead, Lividilly. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Feel free.
You're Wanderer. Anyway, so my biggest concern is actually surviving. So let's see how this works. I'm probably going to reset a couple of times.
I see the reset strat. Makes sense. Do you think you have time for that? What are your concerns on time constraint today?
I'd be happy to even make it to the second fight. So.
And that's the kind of goal setting we like to see. No one can fail when they shoot for the starting line, my man. I appreciate that, and I respect everything you're doing. Feels magical. I'm sure we're going to see great things. Kamikiro, my man, what, in your experience as you were getting ready for this trial, was the most difficult to put together? What was the piece of the team that was the hardest to achieve?
Beryl, definitely. Building the resistance required and the stats at the same time was kind of tricky. Olive, of course, for the I tried to build her best as I could, and she reached like 3,000 attack, and the limit was like 2,000. So I had to remove some power on her. And the thing that I most fear of is the final battle, because there's some RNG involved with the magical neutral attacks, and I kind of scared for that. For the rest, it's kind of good, I think.
Well, I'm hoping it all works out in the end for you. It sounds like smooth sailing up to a point, and we're hoping those waters stay calm, my man. I'm seeing in chat, Demon Luck addressing the fact that it is a bug that has to be fixed by Gumi. Hey, man, listen. Agree, but still. That's true. We're already in wave 2. Kamikiro out here just breezing through. Like the man said, smooth sailing up until a point, and we have not reached that point yet. So far, hey, All you need to do is win, and if you don't lose, you can't lose. It's really that simple, and we're seeing that old adage be proved here today.
Oh, now I realize I could have just defeated Veritas of the
You're
Bolt.
taking a quick reset. Oh no, let me tell you with the turn 4 goals.
My selfie just decided.
I didn't even know that the other guy jumps on turn 3. That makes things so much easier, honestly. I've never gotten this far.
Well, you know what? That's progress, and progress makes a winner as far as I'm concerned. Every time we see someone achieve one extra step, that's one step they haven't achieved before. And if that isn't a win, well, then you know what? That's not the world I'm trying to live in, my man. So let's make sure that counts. Hopefully chat's having a lovely time watching our boys struggle for their amusement, because boy, oh boy, let me tell you, trying to build for a trial like this, it looks like it'd be simple until you get in there and see the numbers and some gear that you have to have on. And the next thing you know, you are scratching your head. Let me tell you that. Just like I would be if I had to use Yuffie even one time. What does this character do? I couldn't tell you. And I'll tell you this, Ignis's food notes is on the accessory slot. Why, you might ask? Wu Tai, that's what I would tell you.
This is my first time using Yuffie for anything.
Ah, that's true. You and I both, when you think about it.
I think the Ignis TMR on Yuffie is for trolling.
Well, you know, sometimes you have to have a new recipe, and sometimes that recipe is for success if you're not from Wu Tai. Am I right, fellas? But 11,400 minimum HP on every character but Beryl, 16,000 maximum HP, Yuffie, Selfie, Olive, with Demon Rain optionally going all the way up to 1,800. Kind of a sweet spot window to stick in. I feel like a lot of the issue here comes from the fact that you can't go over or under these thresholds when you're gearing. You'd think, hey, it's not so bad, but as we've heard from some of our competitors today, you put on some gear you think you're going to use, next thing you know, all of a sudden, your stats are a little too high, weirdly. Clearing under the bar is kind of the difficult part here and there, especially when it comes to spirit. Very low spirit requirements on these homies. 600 minimum spirit on all of Demon Rain, Yuffie, and Selfie, but the maximum, just about 1,000 on everyone. 850 on Demon Rain, in fact. So hard to keep the spirit in check. I'm sure that our homies have found that to be the case.
So let's roll RNG. If I can get 4 hits on Veritas of the Bolt, I fix this. I just need 1 hit on Heavens and 4 hits on Bolt. Sounds doable, right?
Hey, you know what? Playing the RNG, my man. Listen, when you got a gun, you got to take the shot. And if there's 2 enemies, well, I mean, you're going to hit one of them sometimes, and that's good enough. Am I right?
True.
I'm crossing my fingers for you. I'm watching you set this turn up with bated breath. I'm trying to see these mortar shells land exactly where they need to be.
Let's see.
And Kamikiro going nice, slow and steady, still hanging out. Turn 6 in wave 2. I feel like no resets yet. I haven't seen a reset come up yet. It would appear Lividilly the RNG is maybe paying off.
Really slow. In this case, Air Veritas has a cover, and only doesn't have every 3 turns, I remember. So I have to wait for the 7th turn to burst.
Absolutely right. You got to make sure those enemy defensive buffs fall off. Can be quite a nuisance.
I think I'm dead.
Well, you know what? But if you die a step further than you lived before, you lived a life that was full of progress. And as we always say, there's always more time in the day, right? The one thing everyone has too much of, time. And here we are playing FFBE, 21 minutes in so far. 21 minutes remaining, rather. 21 minutes remaining. Just about a third of the time expired. And we do have some headway, but I can't stress enough. This trial is kind of a killer. There's a lot going on mechanically. I feel like when people played this originally, perhaps this trial was just a bit dated on release. Their units were too strong, global, known for the power creep, known for the global original units that like to break the mold and break the heavens. And let me tell you this, these guys got Giga Drill broke. It was not even close. But if you look under the hood, they have some pretty insane mechanics going on. They have a lot of damage. They have a lot of buffs. They have moves that will surprise you. I think there's even some uncoverables in there, but I would have to double check with that.
Okay, good.
Seeing some progress. Okay. Wanderer making some moves. So far, wave 3 for Kamikiro. We're seeing fire water getting ready to come up to the plate. Clarity, that is exactly right, my man. As chat has noticed, let me tell you this, elements are required. You do have to hit a variety of enemies at a variety of times, and you know, that's kind of a tall order in and of itself. And like Seagless has mentioned, they do all absorb one element each, so you literally cannot rely on the wrong elements, because eventually one of them will hardlock you. You do have to have minimum 2 damage types, or you're not getting through.
I made a mistake. I pressed the wrong barrel.
Not the wrong button, boys.
I pressed the ability that kills him and revives him instead of the magic cooldown.
Ah, I see. This man wanted to reset the app and reset the barrel, and you know what? Consistency is key when you're going for a long-form victory in a trial like this. I definitely respect the strat, even if it was an unintentional strat. Sometimes you have to live every life as though it was your last, even though barrel seems to have many. I'm sure it's going to work out. We've got 19 minutes left, possibly enough time for one more reset from each of our competitors, depending on how quickly we schmoove and groove through phases 2, 3, and 4. Well, I guess perhaps you would say waves, not phases in this instance, because they are whole other enemies now that we think about it. At the moment, Gert and Wanderer both chilling against wave 2. Liv making some headway on the Veritas of the Electric Veritas. Very, very dope.
No, I'm just resetting and kill the Light Veritas on turn 4 now.
Hey, and like we said, sometimes you do have time for a reset, my brother. I'm trying to see you make some headway.
Oh!
Okay, let's get a quick check-in with the homies. Like I said, about 12 minutes have passed so far. Our current leader, if this was a race, although let's be honest, it's a bit of a side-by-side single-player race in the sense that there are no winners and there are no losers. We're just here to have fun. But Kamikiro, right now, with the furthest distance toward the finish line, what are your thoughts? Has it been as smooth sailing as you predicted initially?
My burial's death.
Well, you know, that's kind of his job when you think about it from time to time. He do die occasionally.
Let me think.
We'll take a moment to pan over, give Kamikiro some time for thought and recovery. Maybe turn 4 could be a turn of a little bit more barrel coming back to life. Gert, let's get a check-in status update. How do you feel about wave 2? What are your initial thoughts going into this fight?
So wave 2 started pretty well. I got lucky and Rain did not jump in front of Barrel, which is like my constant problem. He jumped in front of Yuffie instead, which was what I wanted. But we're about to go and see, you know, how RNG is going to play out for me, because we're going to see if we can hit the right one or the wrong one.
I see. This man said, Hail Mary, we're going to take the mortar shot, just seeing where things land, and I respect that.
Oh, not Earth. No, not Earth. We're doing fire. I'm sorry. Here we go.
Easy to click the wrong things. Let me tell you, these characters have a lot of various pieces to interact with. They have a lot of different chaining attacks, a lot of elements to cover. It's a lot to keep track of, even in a normal setting, and that's why we stick to global original units, baby boys. No Wu-Tai in this house. So, Wanderer, how's it going over there, my man? I saw you resetting a little bit early, but you are in wave 2. Hopefully it's hanging in there.
Yeah, I think I should be able to kill the Veritas now. Just now, the first fight, I was a little bit unlucky when my selfie didn't roll the slot ability, so I died.
Hey, you know what? In an RNG scenario, sometimes you just gotta lean into the slots. I respect that a lot.
Right. Hopefully, I don't make any silly mistake. If not, it should be fine now.
Very confident words from Wanderer. I'm hoping to see some headway. Every now and again, though, it's very easy. For the homies watching just on the sidelines and chat cheering on our competitors right now, let me tell you, making a simple mistake, especially under these circumstances, much easier than you might suspect. I would encourage anyone who's interested, maybe do some inquiry. Maybe we could hook this up as an after stream thing. If you want to try the trial yourself, I promise you it is not as easy as it looks, folks. This is a bit of a Rubik's Cube, but maybe if all the colors were the same and Yuffie was on one side. Unfortunate. Oh wait, I'm hearing word from the producer that in fact there are YouTube comments we could be checking. This is being a live stream to YouTube also? Big question mark? Let's take a minute to load that up, pop over there, see what the YouTube chat has to say, because we're not trying to leave any homies in the dark. Boop. Go ahead and put this on live chat. Magical. SK the hype man. Listen, Demon Luck, I do what I can. I'm just reading as a man, my man. I'm just going through here and seeing what homies have to say. Official stream was not the bad this time. I agree. More entertaining than the official stream. Juggernaut, let me tell you this. The official stream was pretty poppin', boys. I was a big fan myself. There was a lot of information in there that I thought was direly needed. Hector Ferrer, we are in fact winning, my man. Thank you very much for asking, Dad. I appreciate it. Tito, bit of a stretch. Well, let me tell you this. The real stretch is the home stretch, which we are seeing Kamikiro come into over here, pulling off what we hope to be a recovery on turn 7 and wave 3. Barrel's still taking a nap, but you know what? He's kind of a sleepy boy. Lizards need their sleep. Tonberry are kind of lizards, I think, or possibly a frog, but I'm pretty sure they're a lizard. So maybe they just have to have a little bit extra time, the little shut-eye. This man's working extra hard, taking extra damage, you know what I'm saying? He's kind of earned the vacay, I think, if anyone has. Maybe he goes someplace exotic, like... Well, not Wutai anyway, but somewhere. These are not the sounds that we like to hear from our boy Liv. The RNG seems to be a bit unkind today. Veritas the Bolt living with a crisp $2 bill in the health bar.
I hate gun variants.
Gun variants is very big for the homies who aren't aware, just in case anyone was not sure of the mechanics at play in this game because they don't have a doctorate. I will let you know this. Every now and again, you equip a two-handed weapon, and some say that's a benefit, some say that's a curse, but I'll tell you this, it sure makes things a lot more uncertain. Every time you conduct any particular attack in this game from any character, the damage can roll between 7.5% higher or lower than normal. That's called final variance. And then additionally, based on the kind of weapon you're wearing, there's a second layer of variance beyond that. I believe the overall over-under ends up being somewhere between 70 and 140%. I'd have to check the scaling on that one more time, but it is a very large window. So when you're dealing with such a powerhouse unit as Olive here, that window, man, 2%, let me tell you this, it is rough. You would think that you could shoot real high, real low, but Olive has a cannon. She only shoots low. Kind of an interesting thing about physics there. Like I said, doctorate required. Let's take a look over here. Make sure we are keeping up to date with the homies in Twitch and YouTube chat, which will be bouncing back and forth between, because I am very painfully aware now that there is in fact a YouTube chat. Hey guys, good to see you. DK, listen, man, we're doing our best to make sure that we have things under control around here. That's ya boy. It is mission control at the helm. Now we have about 11 minutes remaining. We're almost 2/3 through the time. And as we're looking around, Kamikiro, back on turn 1, had to take that reset unrecoverable barrel nap. That man decided to hibernate instead. You got to wake him up. Now we got a game of speed at this point. Now, let's be clear. This doesn't reflect on any particular player. Absolutely anything can happen in these trials. It's a wacky racers situation out here. Next thing you know, the Mach 5's jumping over a pit. Is that a different show? Yes, that's how unpredictable it is. Wanderer, now, our boy, already half through the 6th Veritas. Quite a bit of progress over here. Looking pretty clean. We'd like to see a completion come out the gate. It's going to be tight in here. It's going to be a bit of a number crunch. So we should at SK one word at a time on YouTube and then Twitch. Sin, that would be a thing you could do. I can't guarantee I'd read the whole thing, but you know what? People do wilder stuff. Woo! This man trying to give me a run for my money, but let me tell you this, I'm just getting into finance and the world is my oyster, so you better watch yourself if you go for anything crazy today, my man. We get some pop-offs in the chat. Hell yeah, you love to see it. Wanderer both on 3, Gertz 2, that's exactly right. Dream keeping him up to date in the YouTube chat. Demon, no, Kamikiro not on wave 3 was originally had to take a reset because Beryl decided to take a straight old Wutai vacation. That's what we call going back to the title screen.
Why is he jumping again? That's bad.
Where's New Vision Beguiled? Darth Sithlord, great question. I ask myself the same thing. More respect for the rune blades, am I right? Absolutely no love for the homies out here. Still a 4-star max in the year of our Lord 2022. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and the worst thing is I just used Type as a spirit.
Now, if you'll notice, this is a situation where some items are fixed onto the player characters. For example, Tyvis's Spirit on Olive, a cooldown ability, the STMR from Tyvis from Season 4 or so, I'm told. And that ability increases the power of your limit burst on the following turn, but only on the following turn, which means one critical misstep on timing will cost you quite a power boost, such as if the enemy decides to reside in the heavens, as is their namesake, and then, well, can't limit burst him in the air, which is crazy because gun. But in fact, it's a mortar, so I guess it does make sense when you think about it logistically. That said, Veritas of the bolts out of the way. Heavens is looking like they're going down. It seems like we might see some headway over there. Maybe a wave 2 from Lividilly. I'm crossing my fingers, although I'll tell you this. Nothing's looking more appealing to Veritas of the Heavens than getting out of there, my boys. What's better than getting out of the way? That's what I always say.
It's a 25% chance that this doesn't fail now, so let's hope for the best.
25% chance is looking pretty clean, though. Wander over here, turn 2 in phase 4. This is the dicey part of the run. We're going to have to see if our mans can get a little bit lucky on this one. Well, these characters, they're pretty strong, minus Yuffie, but I'll tell you this, Light and Dark Veritas are no slouch. Absolutely cutthroat from these two. Literal stone cold killers. Although, maybe it's just one person and a weapon, because I don't know if that's Reagan or the other. Well, you know, that's up for lore debate. Either way, let me tell you this. Wild. Regardless. Demon, there's no Yuffie hate. I'm just talking about Yuffie the way she's meant to be talked about. Back in Wutai. Meanwhile, over here in the YouTube Twitch chat combination, we got plenty of people supporting both sides, and you love to see that. You know? You know what we see around here? A whole bunch of people rooting for a whole bunch of people to do well, and that's the kind of vibe we want, and still no one's corrected me about Yuffie. We're all just on the same page, and I think that's really great. What a community. Additionally, it looks to me like we're seeing Kamikiro in the same jumping situation as Liv, an easy trap to fall into. You can't shoot him out of the sky, my boys. We don't have the anti-air capability. Oh, but Liv taking out the Veritas of the Heavens with a masterful executed attack? We are in wave 2. I believe I recall that being a point of personal victory. Liv, how does it feel? What will you do next?
I have no clue. I'm just going to repeat what I did and hope it works.
My man says what he needed to say. We're going to repeat it, and that's what we like to hear. Now, we're going to go ahead and cut over to Wanderer here. Man has 2% remaining on Veritas of the Light. Veritas of the Dark is out of the way.
I'm done.
It looks like a shoe-in. Seems like nothing can possibly go wrong here. We'll see what happens.
Oh, shit. All right.
Well, every now and again, as you recall, just like the real Veritas of the Light, this Veritas of the Light gets their health back. It's something of a Zenkai boost. They're a bit of a Dragon Ball fan. You brought them close to death and didn't finish it, and they do become a Super Saiyan. So you do have to keep your eyes out for that. However, they're not terribly tanky. I think it's okay. There's about 5 minutes left in the trial. Let's get some panicked, rushed thoughts from the homies. Gert, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good because once again, Rain sat exactly where I wanted him to sit. So we're doing all right.
You know what? A victory is a victory. We love to see you thrive under pressure, and Demon Rain cooperating in itself is a bit of a victory.
He's the major liability.
Absolutely. Which is a shame, am I right, boys? Because he's A, not from Mutai, and B, looks absolutely dope. Kamikiro, how are we feeling after the reset, man? What do we got going on over here?
Really sad, actually.
I get it, man. It can be.
No,
RNG trials do be a bit like that.
Shit.
Yeah.
But let's be clear, no matter what happens, everyone here is a winner today just for showing up and giving it their best effort. Like I said, this is not a competition. It is a collaborative effort to get in here and have a good time, and we love to see it.
What did I do wrong? Oh my goodness.
In fact, the young wanderer catching the retribution of Veritas of the Light on an absolute uphill rampage said, hey, remember that time? 2%? Huh? That's crazy.
I think I'm done. Bye-bye.
Oh no, is it possible to dispel Veritas of the Earth?
It can be an absolute nightmare out here. Meanwhile, in YouTube chat, Dokero wins as long as all of them give their best. Hey, man, Demon Luck, that's the kind of vibes we love in the community. You couldn't be more right, my man. Now, we do be seeing some Fs, but let me tell you this. The true F, am I right, boys, is for any chance that our boys didn't give it their absolute best shot. Because this trial is a killer, I'll tell you that. There is a lot of RNG, and there's no one out here that has RNG as a skill, let me tell you that. Which is crazy because Yuffie has 48 useless skills. You would think she'd have at least one that did something, but even so, nope, they don't teach you anything about that in Wutai. 3 minutes on the clock.
I'm sure I'm being woefully inefficient, but I've been using her her Clear Tranquil constantly just to kind of keep myself on my feet.
And keep yourself on your feet you have, and that is a victory in my book, my man. If anything, let me tell you, the homies out here that are doing their best and trying with all their might to make things happen, let's just remember, like I said, if you show up to a trial with Yuffie and you don't see the game over screen, probably not an FFBE player, huh? That's crazy. So everyone here is a winner except Yuffie in my book. Absolutely love to see the tenacity, the veracity, the absolute propensity to continue on in the face of adversity, my boys. It does appear we're coming into the final stretch, and at the moment, Gert out here is still hanging out. Turn 4, wave 3. Has the time, has the patience, has the foresight. Veritas of the Waters locked in. Olive looking ready to go. I think we're going to see maybe one more KO'd Veritas before this fight runs out of time. Terry, well, we'll have to see about that one way or the other one of these days, I tell you that. But it could be the case because this does be a struggle out here for the homies. A lot of, hey, you know what, Demon? Yeah, I say give it a shot. I'm sure it wouldn't be too hard to find somewhere to get these restrictions and limitations on the units. Put the team together yourself if you are the kind of madman that has a leveled up Yuffie, God bless you. But you know what? I'm sure it wouldn't be hard to do it later if you wanted to. I'm sure you could make that work.
All right, that was close.
I have like nothing to do with Demon Rain. He's such a bad unit.
That's the thing about Demon Rain, isn't it? Demon Rain is a lot like Yuffie in that way, that he's just not that helpful. It's pretty crazy that we have two characters like that. But as we say, at least he's not from Mutai. Gilgamesh, one of the trials of the fixed dice, of course. See, yeah, that is true. But let me tell you, is that Yuffie or is that fixed dice? Am I right, baby boys? Who remembers the days? 2B, huh? A character not from Mutai that still used fixed dice? That's what I like to see. Jeannie, welcome on in. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us today. Hope you're having a good one. Well, take care of yourself. Starting into the next segment. Dream, I believe that would be the case. Yeah, although I'm not sure the kind of stringent cutoff we're going to be getting here. I think our boys have exactly 25 seconds, and then there's no buzzer beating around here. The buzzer is law. Coming in on the final, the absolute wrap up, 10 seconds on the clock. And the Veritas said, hey, you could beat us in story mode and we could lose to the writers, but you know what? We don't lose these trials, I'll tell you that, huh? These guys put up a voracious battle. Let's go ahead and give these boys one last enthusiastic round of applause and some support just for showing up, being good sports. My boys, it was a tough fight. You did your best, and that's a win in my book.
Hi guys, Spidey Gaming here. Now I'm at Coffee Shop. Well, it's an honor to me to be part of FFBE community. So I thank you so much for supporting all FFBE content creators all the time. And also thanks a lot for having fun with us guys. To talk about FFBE 6th anniversary live stream this morning, I feel so hyped because I can't wait to pull Sylvie or Wilk. I think this is the best FFBE anniversary so far, but do you guys agree with me? I live in Indonesia and we have so many fans of Final Fantasy games. Most of us already in 30s and some of them are teenagers. So it's fun to see these teenagers play this game because they know how good Final Fantasy games are. To think about being a well-known or pay-to-win player, I think it's not easy for us because most of us already have a family and those teenagers still don't have their own income to purchase bundle in game. So it's difficult for us. For your information, the lowest salary cap per month in my country is about $200 to $300, but some of them might be below that number. So as an employee who loves to play this game, we usually spend about $20 to $50 per month to support this game. I know that this is not enough, but this is what we can do to support game company. And some of them play casually, but I also know some of them are well-known. Might be they have high income, but it doesn't matter whether we play casually or be well-known. The most important is we enjoy while playing this game, right? Last but not least, happy 6th anniversary to FFBE. Coffee, cheers.
Hey, thank you so much. Greetings everyone. Welcome to FFBE International. I'm your host, Kamikiro, with a special guest, Wonder. We'll be discussing about some topics around what is the experience of FFBE and even other related games around the world. So can you say hello, Wonder?
Hello everyone. Xin chào mọi người.
So I was talking with him before around what is interesting talking about the experience of FFBE. So I was asking first, what is your perspective, and what is the perspective of your community, your particular community around the game? Mine is Latin America and Spain, and yours, what it is?
All right. So for myself, I'm based in Singapore. So I would mostly speak on behalf of the Singaporean players and some of the Indonesian and the Malaysian players that I've come into contact with. But I am Vietnamese by race, so I'm also in contact with a lot of Vietnamese players based in Vietnam as well. And yeah, so I was studying in the US for like a good 4 years. So I also went to Fan Festa and some of one of offline events, and also came into contact with some of the US player I tend to know. But most of it, I'm more in touch with the Vietnamese and the Singaporean players.
Right. I was telling to him, I am from Colombia and I mainly make content on YouTube only for Latin America and Spain for the Hispanic community. And I've been staying and interacting in many different social medias around these 5 years of the game, or six. I'm sorry, six. First on Facebook, and then I started to make content around 4.5 years ago because I said it took me like 1 year to decide to start to make content on YouTube, and then I go to Discord, and especially on Discord, and that's where I found most of the players who was I interact right now, and I have a bunch of people even they are in the chat because I told them that they come here to shout out to everyone. Así que saludos, Carimondases, ¿cómo están? Un gusto tenerlos por acá. I'm so sorry, I need to talk Spanish to them. And if from the particular Latin America culture, I feel really happy for my community. They are pretty charming. They are pretty great people. They are really helpful, and I really am glad to have them in my life even. So talking about that, how has been your experience since you start playing FFBE? Did you start from the beginning? When you start to make content, how was everything about around that?
All right. So for myself, although I'm based in Singapore, that I started playing FFBE when I was in America. Before that, I was playing Pokemon Go. So I was a greedy guy in the sense that I when Pokemon Go first started, and then a lot of Pokemons was locked behind the regions, and all the unknown they randomly spawn.
Yeah.
So I was just I did a fair share of going around and catching the legit way, but in the end I got greedy and I just started to spoof my GPS locations to get all the Pokemons I wanted and participated in different Pokemon Go events around the world when I was not supposed to be. Then in the end, my account got banned, which should be the right way. Then at that point, I also almost got everything I wanted, but I was just too jaded to start over. Then a very close friend of mine in America told me that, oh, you like Final Fantasy so much. Why don't you just play this FFE game that I'm playing? So that was when my journey started. And of course, I learned my lessons is just never to cheat again. So in FFE, I've never did anything shady. So, but I have a very humble beginning. So I started I think around Jack, no, nameless gunner Jack Banner. So I don't
And the
remember it
second
was
anniversary, you was telling me.
second. Was it second or third? I
Around
can't
second
remember.
anniversary, maybe.
Yeah, second anniversary. So it was the Garuda raid. My first ever FFB rainbow was Barbarisha. Yeah, that my love is always Aang. Whenever when I discover about Aang, I was sold on that day. So it's forever Aang. So I always hope for MVP Aang. That is no doubt EX3 upon me on after maintenance. Anyway, enough digression. So I played and then I didn't start YouTube immediately. I think I was just I remember it was CEO's banner when I when I put one shot Undin. It was one of the Madame's Manor boss. I was pretty very I spent very little, and then I was so happy to be able to one shot the new with Theo. I was so happy. So I recorded the video and I uploaded it on YouTube mostly for myself to record my journey. Then after that, I think I forgot about it. I think like a year later, then I look back at the video like, oh, there was actually 100 people actually watched my video. So I thought nobody would care, but actually there was 100 plus people also like did watch. So from that moment on, like, oh, maybe I should upload more. And yeah, slowly and slowly, and here I am today. In America, like mostly I converse with my close friend in America about FFBE. Then I went to Fanfest. I met Glide and some of other FFBE players, and then I had an awesome uh, off-fan meeting with Elytra XP when she was still our community manager. She was awesome.
Mhm. Yes.
She was so
She actually
in
told me
person.
one
Yeah,
time my account was bad. She personally talked with the staff
yeah.
of FFB, and I gave my account back thanks to her.
Yeah, she really cared about the community. She really talked to us during the off meeting, and then I met her again during the fun fest. So she really cared. She asked us what we wanted, and then she tried her best to answer all the questions. Of course, it's like certain things she was not supposed to say, so she should just decline the answer. But it was great to have her, and it was so sad to see her leaving. Yeah, so after that, I went back to Singapore, and then I think I went back to Singapore since 2019. So I've been staying basing here, and then I started to meet more Singaporean players. So shout to Aloysius, who is one of the moderator of FFBE Global group. He's a Singaporean, and then I love his videos, and it's always so fun. And yeah, and then I got into contact with other players from Singapore. We met each other, and then our group we also have Indonesian and Malaysian players as well. So shout out to all of you. And after that, I also found a group of Vietnamese players. Yeah, so shout out to Yao Jong, Yao Sang, Yao So, and everyone else. Sorry, I cannot name everyone because there's a few of them. Of course, Golden as well. Hello, everyone. Yeah. So yeah. So in a way, uh, although from different countries, but I do believe we all love our love from Final Fantasy, different franchise. My favorite is of course FF7. It's always in my heart. I grew up playing it. So, but our Final Fantasy love, regardless of the countries, I believe transform into our love for FFBE. Yeah.
What
So
was
that's
seven your first Final Fantasy?
yes, it was my favorite Final Fantasy. I played as a kid. I didn't even understand English back then because I was born in Vietnam, and then all I knew was Vietnamese. I just click, 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 and somehow I got through the stage.
Yeah, yeah.
It was so fun.
Even so, in our culture, we usually start to learn English because of the games, the video games. So I
Yes,
completely
yes,
understand
yes.
that.
Similar because I grew up as a Vietnamese person, then I migrated over to Singapore, and you're absolutely right. In Vietnam, a lot of my English vocabulary came from games like
Yeah.
Pokemon Red and Blue and Final Fantasy VII. Like, what is that word? That I started to look up in a dictionary, and oh, I learned so many more things than the school actually taught me.
Yeah. Yeah, well, my story is, I think, very similar in some points as yours. I started play FB, Final Fantasy when I was like 8 years, and my first Final Fantasy was Final Fantasy 8.
Oh,
And
eight.
8, yeah, yeah, yeah. I play Final Fantasy 8 a lot of times. Given the situation, I didn't have my family didn't have the resources to give me more games, and it took me like 6 or 7 years before I start playing the other Final Fantasy 10, 12, 7. I played Final Fantasy 7 when I was 15. Now I'm 26. And so I came all the way with all the Final Fantasy, except the online ones. And someday I was looking on YouTube, YouTube channel. I don't remember the name particularly. That was talking about the best Final Fantasy for mobile devices. And at that point, there were like only 4 or 5 months after the release. That was 2016, if I remember correctly. And there was Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, and I see the pixel art, and I was, oh, this is like Final Fantasy VI, which is my favorite. And I start playing. At the beginning, I was playing by myself. It took me like 5 or 6 months before I found the first community that it was in Facebook. And I was like a bunch of things that I didn't understand. For example, the chaining concept at that point didn't exist yet because it started with Orlando and
Yes,
all.
the barrage myth I heard.
And the point where I start to make content is when I start to see a YouTuber from Asia, I don't know the sad country, who called Osak. That was in the era of the Chamber of the Arms, and he has some very cool videos with it, very cool clears of the Chamber of the Arms with some crazy chaining, and I was like, how did he do that? That's really amazing. And I start to make myself like, I want to try this. And at that era, my first DPS was Randy from Secret Mana, the really heavy DPS, and in the 5-star era. And then it came Queen, and most of people in the global community don't know, the Hispanic know, but I was a main queen for 2 years straight.
Oh
I
yes,
did
the
everything
general
queen.
mascot.
Yeah, and that's why she is in my intro and all that. But I knew until today that there's 2 other guys who all are also main queens. I was like, what? I thought that me was the only one. And the reason I start to play it to record videos and make content for YouTube is because in the community, the best trial ever, Marlboro, the Rumble of Marlboro, when it was released, it was really hard, and I was like, oh, what are I gonna do if my only damage dealer is Queen? And people was like, Queen is useless. You won't get any clear with her. And I was like, oh yeah, let me try this. And I make a video, a really messy video with a lot of turns, but with Queen. And I think that was my most viewed video back then. It get like, I don't know, 5,000 views. At that point, I start to make 4 videos before that, and then I put the Queen video in the Rumble Marlboro, and it blows out. There was like 5K people. Wow, I can't believe you do that. And that was the inspiration. If you watch all my old videos, all of them are Queen, 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 Queen. And people at some point start to get mad. What are you not going to use any other unit that isn't Queen? And I was like, no, I don't. I won't.
Yeah,
I
actually, to
will.
be honest, I think Meme Clear is one of the best content in my opinion. And yeah, to be honest, I came to first know about you was because you kept using Queen. So at first I call you the Queen guy. Oh, that Queen guy is doing it
Oh
again.
yeah.
Yeah, but actually, using the unit that was not supposed to, that was not especially planned for the trial,
Yeah.
really make you think a lot harder
Mm.
and make the trials to actually work. Similar for me. These days, I notice some of the people call me like instead of Alan Wanderer, they call me Alan Riserer because
Riser.
these days I like to use Riser
Yeah,
to me, Riser is just like a fresh breeze in the content because it's a completely different part of the meta in which in the meta you will just slot in the best DPS, the most meta tank, um, the best you can offer to dish out the most damage. And hey, then we have Riser here that really change your thinking all around. It's completely one category by itself, and to me, I really love it because it's a little bit mundane using the meta after a while. So that's the reason why I love doing Riser strategies. But of course, all the strategies you see me uploaded has already been cleaned up a lot. Yeah, so especially for Clash of Wills, when surviving is a lot of it's a lot more emphasized. Yeah, so it took me sometimes it took me the whole day, like 12 hours, just keep thinking about it until I got it right.
Yeah.
So to me, it was fun. It was fun rather than just because what are you gonna do after you catch cow? There's nothing to do anymore. So that's why I like to do Riser strat, and I hope Riser is to stay for quite some time. Although I know Gumi would the power grid from Gumi would eventually let him retire, but let's cherish the moment. But just now when you were mentioning about YouTubers, like one of the guys who inspire you, Ozak, right? For me, I want to share. It's actually it was Evil After. He's
Oh, it was
forever
after.
my senpai
All
because
right.
I remember the first 10-man trial. I remember the 10-man trial like Chamber of Arms. So if you are newer players, too bad you miss out on that because they already locked the trials. Now you cannot do it. But I remember my friend when he first introduced me the one in America. He told me, you are too new. You cannot clear this at all. It requires a lot of gears and units, and 10 units you need to gear them to like to the best of your ability and stuff like that. You don't have the gear. Don't do it anytime soon. Then I remember I was playing for like 3 4 months in, and then I found Evil after like, hey, I can do this, and it was Sheraton that I did the Bahamut evoking with Garnet. I
Yeah.
tell you, the first time I cleared, it was the best, one of the best moments in game for me. I was just so happy, and then of course, it's the first person I shared with was my friend. Like, you see, I can clear it now. So yeah, yeah. So that's why. Although it's a shame that Evil After is not playing the game anymore, that he's forever the senpai in my heart, and I always look up to him for his budget clear. Yes.
Yeah. Now that you're talking about the Chamber of the Arms, Chamber of the Arms was a very special era for me. I think for me, Chamber of the Arms has been the best content in the game. The mechanics, the difficult. Most of the players say no, it's really too easy. But for me at the time and the way that I did it was what made that content for me really special. I cleared all the 12, it was 12, right? 12
Yes,
Chamber of
well,
the Arms with 5 units and always with Queen. That was
yes,
when they were released. Because if you clear 2 or 3 months, the meta has changed. But I did it always on the first week, 5 units with Queen. And that's where people start to call, oh, you're the Queen guy. I was like, yeah, yeah. For me, Chamber has built the best content in FFBE. I really enjoy other contents, but I will change every other content for another Chamber of the Arms. Chamber of the Eye 2.0 coming? We don't know.
yes.
For
I
you,
totally
what is
agree with you on
your
that.
favorite content ever? I know you really enjoy most of them. And talking about Riser 2, you're telling Riser is really special, but Riser will be nothing without Bulwark.
Yes,
And
yes,
that's why we see that the JP developers and the global developers especially looks like they let skip some things because many players the first time they saw Bulwark skill and they know what JP is coming with Riser, they were like, oh, this might work, and they didn't
yes,
do anything to change that, and that's why we have the Riser meta right now. My Riser, by
yes.
the way, is 130. I give it the 10 cuts.
Respect to you
No
on that.
regrets, no
No
regrets.
regrets. I agree. There is nothing as regret if you invest in Riser because, in my opinion, Riser is one of the best things that happened to FTP players
Yeah,
in the history of the game. Of
yeah,
course,
yeah,
to be fair, because a different team designed Riser, and then for global exclusive units like for work, it was designed by our global team. So of course they won't be able to foresee every single mechanics. One of the reason why I love FFB so much is the mechanics of this game is so vast. It's so rich there are so many things going on. So it's when you design units after units, there are like thousands of them. It's bound to happen, but it's a nice coincidence. So lucky for the guy who designed Bulwark that the counter for the allies is half of the Bulwark counter, because for allies only 15 modifier. Imagine if we slap 30 modifier for everyone, we will be using Riser to the rest of the game, I believe. Because as of now, he's like 2.5 times more than our top DBS. And then now if you have double that, it's the entire team.
Do you think we maybe with the trials that are coming for JP, there must be some opportunity to do Bulwark with double Riser to one-shot the boss?
Um,
Will be
I
interesting to see.
I will keep that in mind, but I think the JP one, the one we just did, was the one that just got released was Death Machines, right? I did think of Riser, but Riser, the issue of the caveat is its counter is single target. So if you have when you
from
have
dead
more than
machines is completely useless.
yeah,
Maybe someone may make some clears with some very particular strategy but for dead machine is kind of impossible, I think.
yeah,
And
it's kind
now
of
that
hard.
you were talking about the mechanics of the game, there was some time I watched a video of yours that you was trying to explain how to chain, and I was like, oh, this is pretty normal. And then you start to use a metronome, the thing
Yeah.
that tick tick tick, and I do the same thing. I use
Oh,
metronome to chain, and I was like, oh, this guy knows how to play.
all
I feel
right.
represented with this guy.
So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I didn't know that because actually I used metronome for a very, very long time. It's just that I did it off screen. So I didn't quite do it, but I think it was only until Holy Reflect was meta for a while. And a lot of people asked me like, how do you even chain? It is so difficult. I was like, it was difficult? I was,
Yeah,
huh? I
it
was
is
like, huh?
not.
I was like, no,
The
it
thing
was
is that
quite
we are
easy.
like some kind of players that are really cheeky with that things, and for us it's really easy. But
Yeah.
for most of the players, it's comprehensively really hard.
Yeah, so then when I explained to them, they didn't quite get the concept. I was like, it's okay. I will try myself to record. So just to show you like how I normally do. And everyone was like, oh, why didn't you share it earlier? I was like, I thought it's quite, yeah. So it was
Yeah,
like,
it
yeah,
happened to me the same thing once.
yeah. So Holy Reflect was one of the like yeah, and a lot of people call it music lesson. Yeah, because I was inspired from watching Two Step Violin because they have this kind of tempo challenge in which they
Yeah,
listen to the music and then they guess what's the tempo and they use a metronome to ascertain the tempo. I was
yeah.
like, this is it's beats per minute, so actually we can change it around. So you can do it fast, do it slow. Then yeah, eventually I worked out the math to actually calculate what's the beat for the correct chaining. Yeah, so that is how it all started. And I
Oh,
didn't know that you also used that. So
yeah, me too. We are all most the same in many things.
yes, yes,
Actually,
yes.
some of my subscribers, with the
Uh-huh.
first time, I in the past shared some of your videos because it was really explaining some mechanic of something I really was too lazy to do, and I was like, this Wonder upload this video, go to check it out, and they start to tell me, oh, he's Kamikiro from Asia. I was like, no, 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 no. It was funny,
I,
but it was like,
yeah,
and
speaking
the
of
thing
which,
with the Berserker, it was
yes, I was about to
also
mention that because my so-called like my most viewed video back then was actually in which I used double berserk. I learned from you actually. I learned from you. I think the first one I learned from you was for Bahamut's Dark Vision. So I learned
yeah.
the double berserk
Darvish
on
like
T.
Darvish number 4 or 5,
I can't remember. I just remember like I watched you and then you did the berserk on Tifa
and Cloud
and Cloud. And I
double
was like,
Berserk.
Jeebus, this guy is a genius. And yeah, then I tried because I couldn't cap at all. Then I tried yours, and then I was, oh my god, I couldn't believe it. Someone, because back then I was much lesser here, and then I was like, oh my god, this is so genius. This is such a beautiful strategy. Who would have thought of this? Yes, and then for some reason it's like Zagabot or Zagagot. You always like to call him that way.
Sargagot,
Because
yes.
I saw your comments in my videos. It's always Zagagot. So Zagagot faded out of meta with the envies. So I remember, was it Gollum or Odin? I can't remember. It was capable DV, and then one of my group members from the Vietnamese community, they were saying that they couldn't cap with my other team players, and then they will struggle a lot with gears and stuff like that. And then I did my calculation, and I told them, you know what, Zagabat actually suddenly becomes good now. And then because it was, who was that?
The main thing with the Sargaba strat is that, well, if you had really good gear, a lot of DPS units, it's not like worth it to do it. But for me, it
Yeah.
was, and I was really playing to use many times in the past, even before Dark Visions even start. I used it with Queen also in the past, and the reason why is because in most of my parties I only have one DPS with good build, with good killers, and making the calculation is around 20 and 25% damage bonus.
Yeah.
And if you only have one or two DPS good gear, Sargabet becomes really, really
Yeah.
relatable to do more damage. But
Yes.
it looks like in this time I still doing it. Even in the last division world, I did like a free-to-play clear with Sargobat and a Squall, but it was more like for the nostalgia than
Yeah.
anything else. I keep playing for that feeling sometimes, and
Actually,
people.
Zagabat, like as you say, right? It's really. Oh right. All right. Yes.
So maybe you want to shout out your people, with greetings, and I do the same after.
All right. All right. Okay. So once again, I want to say hello to all my my old friend in America, Fates, and then of course I want to shout out to all the Singaporean players, and then the Vietnamese players. Xin chào mọi người một lần nữa. Yes, and really it was my honor to really be here and to be friends with all of you guys around the world and get to know everyone through the games. And really, the game connected me with so many more friends in the most unexpected ways. Yeah.
Yeah. First of all, I want to say thank you to all the community, especially to Flip Metal for inviting me, and I'm really glad to be in here sharing a little bit with the community around the world. For my people, most of the people know me already. I really want to know everybody around the world, and that's the reason why maybe I do some kind of content. I really feel great to be in these kind of spaces. Thank you so much. Thank you also to all the people in the chat. I always tell to my people that you are the main reason why content creators still doing content, because the people is what do that everything is worth it to do. Y por supuesto quiero mandar un saludo a toda mi gente hermosa que está ahí. Son lo mejor de lo mejor que hay. Ya saben que siempre los voy a querer. Muchísimas gracias por estar acá. And that's it. Thank you again for this space.